Right, friends. So I think we are good to start, and good evening to all. So today the topic that we are going to discuss is one of the topic that I think everybody finds it difficult, and even some of our old members have been asking that this topic should be revised again because it goes difficult for majority of us to learn the materia medica. Right. So today the topic that we are going to discuss is how to study the materia medica. And here to understand this topic, friends, we'll be doing a lot of interactive activities as well. And I want all the batch 4 members at least to participate. And the old members, if they may have already attended this session when we had discussed this in their batch. But in case if you have missed out on that occasion when we had discussed this topic in your respective batch, then you can also participate in the activities that we are going to do. But I would request all the batch 4 members especially to come forward and participate, because here it is important for us to realize basically how to study, what is the actual process to study the materia medica. Now when we talk about studying materia medica, there are two aspects, friends. One is studying for the sake of clearing your examination, getting passing marks. That is a totally different aspect, and that kind of study that we do just to get our passing marks in the examination is not going to benefit you too much in your clinical practice. So everybody knows how we are supposed to study to get the passing marks. हम लोग रट्टा मार लेते हैं, we memorize the things, but that is not going to help when it comes to clinical practice. So today the discussion is going to be, we are going to focus this discussion on how to study the materia medica for its clinical utility, clinical application. Right. Now, as you all know that our materia medica has vast information stored, and it is beyond the capability of a human brain. I'm saying it again, I'm repeating it again, friends. It is beyond the capacity of a human brain to remember all the recorded symptoms given under a drug. Do you agree with me? Confirm in chat box. Do you agree with my statement if I say that it is beyond human capacity to remember all the recorded symptoms given under a drug in the materia medica? So that is practically impossible. So if you think about, if you look for an option where you can memorize it, then that is out of scope, totally out of scope. It is impossible. It is impossible to memorize the complete materia medica. It is too vast. Impossible for a human brain to basically memorize it. Then what is the procedure to study the materia medica? To understand that, we are going to start with an interesting activity. Have a look at the next slide, friends. Now, can anybody comment what is the meaning of this word? What is the meaning of this word? Anybody knows?
No, sir.
Is there any such word in the dictionary?
No, sir. No word like this.
No word like this. Then what it is? Then what you are saying? It is basically a collection of some random alphabets. Right? There is no such word. It doesn't have any meaning. These are basically some random alphabets which has been collected and grouped together. Now, what you have to do is that I'll give you 2 minutes time. You have to type in the chat box. Basically, what you have to do is that you have to make some meaningful words using a different combination of these alphabets. You need not consider all the alphabets. Whatever alphabets you can consider, 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever it may be, using those alphabets which is shown in your screen, you have to form meaningful words. But there is a condition. There's a condition. The condition is that it should be the name of an animal, insect, or a bird. It should be the name of an animal, insect, or a bird. So your time starts now, friends. You can start typing in your chat box. You'll have 2 minutes for that. You cannot repeat the words. If it is there, if the words are alphabets are not repeated in here, you cannot repeat it. Yes, tiger, okay. eagle, horse, pigeon, lion, rat, okay, tile, hare, okay, hen, ठीक है, पैरेट हैज टू आर, एक ही तो आर दिया है, पैरेट में 2 आर आता है ना, लेग, ऐसा कोई बर्ड है क्या? I said that it should be the name of an animal, bird or an insect. Horse ठीक है, eagle ठीक है, and okay, last 30 seconds. Goat, G-O-A-T, okay, goat. Spider, S-P-I. Where is D? Spider के लिए D कहाँ पे है? Pig, okay. Last 10 seconds. Right. So time up, friends. Time up. Now stop typing. Now we have got a long list of animals and birds and insects, right? From lion, tiger, eagle, pigeon, then rat, and lot of names we have got. Now this was a pretty easy activity, isn't it? Very easy activity to us. Now we will do once again do the same activity again, but we will make it little tough this time. I'll share another image, friends. Have a look at this. Now these are again a set of random alphabets taken together. Now again I'll give you 2 minutes, but this time you have to form the name of a drug from our materia medica. Short forms will not do, like ARS for arsenic or HEPAR for herself. It has to be the complete name of the drug. It has to be the complete name of the drug, and your time starts now. पल्सटिला के लिए विशाल सर ये कहाँ पे है? A is not there. ओपीएम के लिए M कहाँ पे है? Think logically. This time it is tough, not so easy. Take your time. I'll give you 1 minute extra. Don't worry. सेलिनियम के लिए M कहाँ पे है? M is not there. Try. Again, टुक्रियम हो या सेलिनियम हो, and M is not there. स्टिलागो के लिए भी A नहीं है ना? क्रियोसॉट भी नहीं बनेगा कैसे? एक ही तो वो दिया है, दो कौन से वो आएगा इसमें आपको? Try. Take your time and then type. Well, confirm it from your end and then type. Don't type it randomly. And allow me to, and don't wait for me to cross check. Take your time, no problem. बनेगा कैसे नहीं बनेगा? I will give you 2 more minutes. Try, think. I'll just join back in 2 minutes, friends. In the meanwhile, you keep on thinking. I'll just join back in 2 minutes. Anybody got? Right, friends. Time is up. How was this second activity? Easy or difficult? How was the second activity, friends? It was easy or difficult? Echoing. Now, if I say that, you can add any two alphabets of your choice into this list and then try to form. You can add any two alphabets of your wish into this combination and then try to form the name of a remedy. Then sepia, correct. Senega, conium, n number of remedies can now be formed. N number of remedies can now be formed. Any two alphabets if you add. If I allow you to add any two or three alphabets into this list, then n number of remedies can be found. Isn't it? Now, before we proceed further, let's learn something from this activity that we have done. See, friends, many times what happens is that we all tend to get prejudiced when we sit in front of a patient to take the case. Instead of waiting for the patient to give us what all information he has to give, the moment the patient tells one or two symptoms, immediately a probable list of remedies flash into our mind. Correct me if I am telling wrong. Do you agree with me what I said? From what I said? The moment the patient will start describing their complaints, even before finishing the case taking, a list of remedies flash in your mind. And then you tend to get prejudiced. You already decide that, oh, ye to arsenic hai. And then what happens is that just like you are adding alphabets as you wish into this combination, similarly, you tend to add the symptoms and mount the symptoms upon the patient, although the patient may not be having that symptom. And then you finalize a remedy, fix a remedy. That is where majority of us go wrong. Do you agree with me? That is where majority of us go wrong. The moment patient says that I have fear of death, I have midnight aggravation, you think about arsenic. Arey, ye to arsenic hai. And then further questioning that you will be doing will be only to mount that arsenic upon the patient. Instead of waiting to observe what the patient has to give, we tend to get prejudiced. Correct. So that is the first place where we go wrong. So that has to be corrected and rectified. While case taking is going, when the case taking is going on, your focus should only be on collecting maximum information out of your patient. That is not the time to open the repertories or think about probable remedies. Is this clear, friends? Right, that was not the purpose of doing this activity, but it was an additional advantage that we got to learn from this activity. Now, go back to the first activity, friends. When I had asked you to form the name of an animal or bird, go back to that activity when you were busy in typing lion, tiger, pigeon, rat, and listen to my question carefully. Voice is not clear, friends. Is my voice breaking or any echo is coming? Just confirm in the chat box, friends. Is it clear now? Is it clear now? Okay. So now go back to this first activity, friends, when I had asked you to form the name of an animal or a bird. And when you were busy in typing lion, tiger, pigeon, rat, and this horse, this and that, tell me, when you were typing a particular word, did the image of that animal came into your mind at least for 1 second? When you are typing lion, the image of a lion. When you are typing tiger, the image of a tiger. When you are typing pigeon, the image of a pigeon. When you were typing ant, the image of an ant. When you are typing, did it came or not? It has to come. It has to come. If your brain is working properly, it has to come. How? I'll tell you that. When I showed you a random set of alphabets and I asked you to form the name of an animal or a bird, immediately your brain had started working. Yes, after making the word only I'm telling. So your brain has immediately started working and your brain is trying all the combinations, trying to form the name of an animal that is stored in your brain. And then when it correctly fits, automatically the image of that animal comes into your mind. When you type, just think typing about Lion, Lion, lion will come into your mind. Definitely it will flash into your mind. Isn't it? Yes or no? Now come back to the second exercise, friends. When you were typing pulsatilla, when you were typing sepia, when you were typing the other names of the remedy, did any such image came into your mind? I'm not talking about the crude substance from which that drug is prepared. I'm not talking about the image of any keynote symptom or any keynote symptom of that drug. I'm talking about the kind of an image that lion has, a kind of an image that tiger has, a kind of an image that pigeon has. Did any such image came into your mind when you were typing the name of remedies? No, it won't come because that is the way we study the materia medica. But just like when you talk about lion, just like when you talk about tiger, just like when you talk about any other animal, just like the image of that animal flashes in our mind, similarly, when we talk about a drug, any particular drug, such an image has to flash into our mind. And that image is called as conceptual image of the remedy. That image is called as conceptual image of the remedy. How this image will look like and how it is formed, we will see that later. But is it clear now what do you mean by conceptual image of the remedy? Just like the tiger has an image, lion has an image, ant has an image, pigeon has an image. Similarly, when we talk about each and every drug, an image has to come into your mind. And that image is called as conceptual image of the remedy. Is it clear for everyone? Now, in the next slide, friends, you are going to see 3 alphabets appearing one by one. You have to carefully look at those alphabets which will appear one by one. And once all these 3 alphabets have appeared, an image will come into your mind. You have to type in the chat box what image immediately came into your mind when you saw that word. Okay, shall we start? In the next slide, you will see one by one 3 alphabets popping up, which will combine together to form a word. So once that word is found, once all the 3 alphabets have appeared on the screen, immediately an image will come into your mind. You have to type in the chat box, what was that image? Be frank, friends. Do this activity sincerely, then only you will be able to learn. Okay, shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here it is. Now tell me, immediately what image came? Those who have attended this activity earlier, they are trying to be extra smart. That is why I don't sometimes entertain the old members here again for the same discussion. N number of times, even if I tell them if you have earlier attended this activity, don't participate, they still try to be over smart. Anyhow, I have made a note of them. Okay, no problem. I'm not just talking about the word God, friends. What image will come when somebody talks about God? See, somebody is typing Krishna, somebody is typing Shiva, somebody is typing Jesus. Basically, when you listen to this word God, the image or the perception that you have in your mind regarding the God, that will flash immediately in your mind. See, if you are a devotee of say Hanuman, then Hanuman's image will come. If you are a devotee of Krishna, or if you are a Christian, then Jesus. If you are a Muslim, then Allah. So what is those people who don't believe in God? For them, the God may be just a spirit or a light. So what the perception is in your mind regarding the God, that image will immediately flash in your mind, isn't it? Yes or no? Now, just reverse these alphabets, friends. Just reverse these alphabets and tell me what image is coming. Just reverse these alphabets. किसी को अपने घर का कुत्ता याद आएगा, किसी को गली का कुत्ता याद आएगा, किसी को किसी मूवी का कुत्ता याद आएगा, किसी को इंटरनेट पे देखा हुआ कुत्ता याद आएगा, है ना? Now the image has completely changed. Now the image has completely changed. The alphabets were the same. The alphabets were the same, but when you rearranged it, the image completely changed. Alphabets were the same, G, D, and O. So when you had written it God, it gave the image of a god, and when you have reversed it, it becomes a dog. Did you observe that? The alphabets are the same, but the way they were logically rearranged, every time you logically rearrange it, it has a different meaning, different image, different perception, isn't it? Now, this is what the word that I have given you. So when you take out T from that, when you take out I from that, when you take out G from that, when you take out E from that, when you take out R from that, and you form the word tiger. So when you form the word tiger, it has got a meaning, and immediately we will get an idea about all the peculiarities that a tiger has. Tiger is a wild animal, tiger is a carnivorous animal, tiger can swim in water, tiger can climb a tree, tiger is the national animal of our country. So all these things immediately, you don't need to memorize these things. Do you need to memorize these things? These are all the things that you know about tiger. So from a given set of alphabets, when you logically combined 5 alphabets to form T, I, G, E, R, and when it combined, it was logically combined, it had an image, it had some peculiarities which immediately flashed into your mind. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, to understand these, friends, I'll give you one more simple example. Have a look at this image. The person is the same in all the 4 images. It is Amitabh Bachchan. But look at his appearance. Different movies, different roles having different characters. So when you see the photo, immediately that character, if you have seen that movie, like if you have watched this movie Pa, then once you see this image, immediately the entire character will come in front of you if you have watched that movie. You need not memorize it. Do you need to memorize it? That is understood. That is understood. Okay, Pa mein Amitabh Bachchan is like that. In this movie, Amitabh Bachchan is like that. In Sholay, Amitabh Bachchan is like that. In this movie, Amitabh Bachchan is like that. So once you know that, okay, this is from that movie, immediately that character comes into your mind. You don't need to memorize that. Isn't it? Are you getting my point, friends? Is it clear so far? Any doubts? We'll take just a break for 5 minutes, friends, and rejoin that because I have to restart this Zoom session again. So we'll just restart in 5 minutes time. I'll share the link again in your WhatsApp groups. Okay.